So I had been dog sitting my parents' dogs for a fortnight, and I saw the likes of Sarah Carrolli get her dogs to choose her breeds, and that honestly looked so fun, so I thought I would give it a try with mine. This is our chunky monkey Bella and her crazy brother Buddy, and they have picked 3 books for me to read in this video. Let's get to it. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So as you've heard, we are getting the doggies to read these books for me over the next fortnight. I've seen a few booktubers do this and I think it is such a fun idea, and I've had dogs around me my entire life, and I thought while I've got the opportunity and I've got 2 with me for a whole fortnight, let's get them to choose my books. So I'm actually filming this after the first selection was made because I wanted to get stuck in there as soon as I unpacked my bags. But the first 2 books that I got a buddy to choose from. He chose my first books, didn't you? And I think he's done an okay job. I think he's done okay. Say bye. The first 2 books that I got him to choose from was Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood and Reckless by Elsie Silver. I've been loving the Chestnut Springs series. I've been really excited to dive back into this book. Also, I've read so many different genres now from Ali Hazelwood. I've read STEM, I've read The Love Hypothesis, I've also read her YA Check and Mate and her Paranormal Bride. And from the whole 3 different genres of hers that I've read, I definitely enjoyed Check and Mate the most. I loved her YA writing. It was so good. So I wasn't sure. Going into this, I'm thinking I'm going to prefer Reckless. I'd be happier if Reckless got picked. But anyway, let's find out which one he's chosen.
Looks great, doesn't it? Just in time for the year.
So he went for Love Theoretically by Ali Hazelwood. Fair choice, fair choice. It wasn't the one I was hoping for, but ultimately I'm in the mood for romance anyway. So I only bought books with me that I was already excited to read all of them to a degree. So this is what we have gone with. So we shall see how we feel about it. Like I say, if I had to rank the books that I've read from Ali Hazelwood so far, it would be Check and Mate, then The Love Hypothesis, and then Bride. So I did enjoy her STEM romance. And that was a long time ago that I read that. So I'm definitely ready to get back into another one of her STEM romances. I've had this on my TBR for ages. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's talk about Love Theoretically so far. I am just over halfway at this point, and also the hair is pretty wild. I did just do a workout, so excuse that. It's getting better as I read it. Like I say, Love Hypothesis is like a mid-range Ali Hazelwood book for me. I don't want to degrade myself, but sometimes I think her writing is almost too intellectual for me. Like, it takes me quite a while to get into the book because I feel like I'm having to work quite hard to understand all of the references, because she does use a lot of scientific terminology and just, I don't know, concepts and phrases that don't come naturally to me. Like I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, it takes me a while to figure out what she's trying to say and the mood and the atmosphere she's trying to create with the phrases and things that she uses, if that makes any sense. So initially I feel like I'm really trying hard to understand what the book's trying to tell me. After a while, I get into my groove with it, and yeah, I'm having a good time with it so far. I'm very much enjoying Jack as a book boyfriend, probably more so than Adam. I have a very unpopular opinion, but I wasn't obsessed with Adam from The Love Hypothesis. I found him a little bit mediocre, maybe until like the end, but like throughout the book I wasn't obsessed with him. But I'm really enjoying Jack. The other main character, I've already forgotten her name, Elsie. She has type 1 diabetes, and one of my favorite tropes is like when a guy looks after a girl when she's sick, like when they're just taking care of her, those acts of service. I love that. But when she has diabetes, then because of like the insulin and everything, he's having to basically keep eyes on her and look after her very, very regularly. Like it's been a sort of common theme throughout so far, and I'm eating that up. Like I am eating that up. So yeah, I think I'm gonna chill out for a little bit now and continue reading this. I do have Buddy, he is sat right in front of me. Hello everyone, hiya. So we're gonna have a cuddle and just continue reading this. Good job you picked a good book. I'm having a good time.
Once I wouldn't say it, would I? Once you wouldn't. Well, bye.
Hello, so it is the next day now, but I thought it was about time to talk to you about my thoughts on Love Theoretically. I really enjoyed this. It just kept getting better and better and better every time I picked it up, and in the end I was like dying to finish whatever I was doing. Well, actually no, I was almost procrastinating reading it because I didn't want it to end in a way, because I was just getting through it so quickly. But I haven't actually explained what this is about. So this book basically follows a girl called Elsie, and she's currently getting paid to fake date people. So she's currently fake dating a guy called Greg, pretending to be his girlfriend. And through that, she meets Greg's brother, Jack. And they kind of don't get on at first. Jack is a physicist, but he's a different type of physicist to what Elsie is. So Elsie is what they call like a theorist, maybe, something like that. And Jack is an experimentalist. They're two very different types of physicists, and essentially they clash in the physics world, if you will. Elsie wants to be, oh hello, I've been joined by our book sponsor of the video. Elsie is currently working 2 jobs. One as a fake dater and one as a teacher. But ultimately she wants to be a proper physicist. She wants to be involved in all types of research and just the science industry, I suppose. I'm a bit dense when it comes to stuff like this. And so she's basically gone to an interview and is going through a process to try and become one. But she finds out that the sort of institution or whatever that she's applying for is where Jack works. And then thus there's an enemies to lovers situation going on there. What? Yes, I think I already mentioned in this video, but it always takes me a while to get into these romances because I just feel like I'm not intellectual enough to understand references and phrases, etc. But as soon as I settled in, which I feel like I settled in within the first quarter, maybe a third, it does take me a while, but once I had, I was hooked, and I very quickly became really attached to the characters and the plot line. I would say this is also, it's not a long book by any means. I think it's 380 pages, but it does kind of give a little bit of slow burn vibes. The enemies to lover situation really builds up to the lovers element, but Jack as a book boyfriend is just, oh. I mean, I can appreciate all love languages. Acts of service, I wouldn't say is my like number one, but he is definitely an acts of service boy, and the things he was doing for Elsie had my heart like just falling out of my chest. It was honestly, it was so like so sweet to read about. I was honestly getting obsessed with him. I also just want to highlight as well, like, this book does have some spice in it. I'd say there's like 2 chapters where the spice is quite heavy, but it's kind of just contained in those 2 chapters, that's it. So you could skim them if you wanted to. But I do just want to highlight that I really love the way that Ali Hazelwood writes spice. I feel like she handles it really tastefully. She kind of portrays it in such a healthy way. Don't get me wrong, like there's some romance books where the spice is kind of hard and heavy and like a bit rough around the edges, if you will, and I can appreciate that sometimes, but there is something so just refreshing and like appreciative seeing spice written in a way that's realistic, that's healthy, and just basically displays a healthy sexual relationship. And I feel like Ali Hazelwood does that really well, but she manages to do it in a way that isn't just like robotic, if that makes sense. Like, even though she's writing it in a way where like consent's heavily considered and like it's very much a 2-person situation, she still manages to keep it like hot. It's not like very stop start and all this kind of stuff. It still gets you going, if that makes sense. But I just wanted to put that out there because I've read many different types of spice, but I think Ali Hazelwood's spice is some of my favourite. And it's not mega in your face. Like I say, it happens within, I think, 2 chapters of this book, and that's probably about it. So it's not overwhelming. It was kind of like the perfect amount for me. Yeah, Jack has definitely made his way into my little like book boyfriend. So yeah, I was really impressed with this. Oh, I haven't told you what I was going to rate it. I think I'm going to settle on a 4.25. That could go up slightly if I find myself thinking about this a lot, but because of the slow start and everything, and I would say I was obsessed with the book, but I did thoroughly enjoy it. So now we need to pick our next book, or I don't need to pick it, Bella does. I would get her on camera right now, but she's actually quite subdued. I brought both the dogs to work with me today and they're both absolutely shattered now, but I'm sure once the treats come out, she will make a swift appearance. But having read a romance, I thought I'd switch up a bit and do my next book as a fantasy. So I've brought 2 options with me. The first option is To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo. This has been on my TBR for a very long time. It's a standalone fantasy, which immediately is fantastic because pretty much every fantasy I ever read means having to commit to a whole series, and it's just not always the vibe. I'm in the middle of way too many series to be wanting to start a new one. So it's a Little Mermaid retelling as far as I can remember. So again, it's also going to be quite easy hopefully to get into. It's not going to require too much brain power because I kind of know the foundations of the story. So this is book number 1. And the second book is The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Now this is the start of a series. What's it called? Folk of the Air. Yeah, this is the start of the Folk of the Air series, which I've also wanted to read for just such a long time, and I thought, why not give it a chance to start it now? It's always appealed to me. It's one of Hayley Pham's favourite series ever, so can't really go wrong. And it's been praised highly by Leigh Bardugo, and I adored the Six of Crows duology, so what could possibly go wrong? So we're going to get the treats ready, get my camera set up, and try and get Bella up to the land of the living, because right now, I don't know if I can show you, she is very tired right now.
It's time we eat.
I'm quite excited about this one. What this book is about, but I'm already obsessed with like the aesthetic it's giving. Like it's giving proper fairy vibes, like foliage and like the insects and the fruits and the flowers. Like that is so whimsical to me. But I literally have I don't actually really know what this book is about at all. I just kind of picked it up because I knew everyone else liked it. But yeah, I'm hoping that I have a really good time with it. Well, that was a savage start to the book. I feel like I need to settle on that. I feel like that's been brushed over pretty quick. But that is horrific. Hello everybody, it is time for an update. It's been a few days. I'm not going to go into detail, but if you've watched my latest vlog, it's all covered in there. But it involves Bella, who picked obviously this read, a cone of shame and a lot of stress. I'm just over 100 pages in, so I thought it was about time to update you on how I'm feeling about this book. I haven't read as much as I wanted to, like I say, it has been a few days because I've just been preoccupied with other stuff. But so far, I don't know how I feel about this. Obviously it's early days, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I thought I would. I know everyone loves, is it Cardan or Cardan or Cardan? I kind of call him Cardan. I feel like Cardan because it's American. Is this American? I don't know. Cardan, I'm going for Cardan. He's evil. Like, I know it is called The Cruel Prince, but it's giving Joffrey from Game of Thrones. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. I know everyone ends up loving him. I've seen so many like fan arts and just like posts online about Cardan, but maybe you're supposed to really hate him at this point, but you know, when you're like, okay, we've got obviously like a grumpy, furious enemies to lover situation here, but you know, when people do such horrendous things, you're like, I don't know how that's actually going to be justified. Like, what are we going to find out about him that makes his behaviour in this book so far justifiable? Because I don't know. Right now it's horrifying. I really don't like him. But yeah, I don't know, and it's taking me a while to get into this. I love the fantasy vibe. It's really like, I feel like it's really old English fantasy vibes, like berries and like woodland creatures. Like, I'm even the chapter art with the bumblebees and the flowers and stuff, like it just makes me feel like I'm in like countryside England. So I love that element of it. And I think I'm enjoying our main characters other than Prince Cardan. Like, I'm enjoying obviously Jude as our main character, her sisters, like that's a fun dynamic to get to know at the moment. But I don't know. Other than that, I'm really unsure, but I'm not loving it yet as much as I hoped I would, but I'm hoping that things will get better. The storyline is definitely picked up a bit. There's been a bit of an introduction to something that I'm assuming is going to obviously form a big part of the plot line. So we'll see how we go with that. That might be what we need to get more into this book, because I'm a little bit underwhelmed at the moment. But I've got some time now to read, so I'm just gonna sit and do it, baby. I've even got all I wanted to say to you guys was that I've got a croissant. I'll catch up with you soon. Literally, like, what day of almost chair is this? I don't even know. 5, which honestly isn't that bad, but it is looking pretty greasy now, so I just clipped it up for the sake of this video. It's pretty wild at the back there. But yesterday I finished reading The Cruel Prince by Holly Black. Now, I don't remember what I last told you about this. I think I just told you that I was a bit apprehensive, not even apprehensive, but just unsure about where it was going, how much I was actually enjoying it, and yeah, I kind of have still formed the same opinion. I still want a bit of time to think on it because I'm not sure how I feel yet completely. Like, at the moment in my brain, it's like a 2.75, very specific, because I feel like a 2.5 is too harsh, because there definitely were parts of this book that I did enjoy and I was like, right, okay, cool, we're getting somewhere. But then equally, the rest of it really ruined it for me. I feel like it had a solid start and a solid end, but like everything else in the middle was just boring. It didn't, I don't know if it was the pacing that was off, I'm not sure, but I couldn't connect to the characters. I couldn't really connect or care much about the plot, which ultimately, if you haven't got those two, any one of those two connections, is going to make it very difficult to get through a book. And I don't know, I was talking to a few people on my Instagram because I put it on my stories saying that I was very disappointed. I was about the halfway mark, and I just said how it wasn't doing it for me the way I thought it would. And I had so many people in my DMs telling me they had the exact same problem. Like, they were so excited for it, it'd been hyped, they had expectations, and then it just didn't hit them. And I was talking to one of my followers and I was like, she made a good point that she feels like it was just marketed wrong or like hyped wrong with this whole like enemies to lovers element and like really super high stakes. And like, there were high stakes in this, don't get me wrong. Like, you venture into murderous acts, like shit goes down, basically. But again, like, there was no lead up to it, and like everything more than, how do I explain this? Like, it almost felt very political, and not in a way that was difficult to understand, but I feel like the driving force of this book is politics, which in a fantasy book, obviously there's going to be politics, but I feel like you weren't given enough of the rest, like I say, characters and like other parts of the plot to then make the politics like relevant and add to the story and the lore and everything. Like, it just missed. I can't put my finger on the exact reason why, but essentially I found myself bored, didn't really want to pick it up because I just didn't care. Having said that, like I say, the beginning was strong and the end was strong. I would say finally after about 250 pages things started getting interesting, and the ending was probably the best bit. Like, finally in the last chapter we had a bit of a jaw drop moment and I was like, oh wow. Does it make me want to read the second book? Yes, and I'm willing to give the second book another try. So I will give the second book a try because I don't want to cut off all ties yet. And I've heard so many good things about this book, and again, a lot of people in my messages after I spoke about my concerns told me that it gets better, and that a few people had reservations after reading this book but continued it and were glad they did. So I don't know if I'm rushing to continue it, so we'll see how we go. So I only have, today is Wednesday and I leave here on Sunday. My parents come back from their holiday then, so I've got a few days. I can squeeze in one more book to read while I'm here. A small update on Bella, because I think when I last spoke to you, I did highlight the fact that she had a cone on. I didn't specify why. I found fleas, a very small amount, but I found fleas, and she just reacted badly. And we'll just leave it at that. So I feel like I've left my most I've wanted to read all the books that I've bought here like really badly, but I feel like these two are my most anticipated recently. Like, these are books that are so high up on my TBR, like I'm desperate to read them. So the first one, unbelievably, I haven't read this yet, is Happy Place by Emily Henry. I have literally heard nothing but incredible reviews about this book, and I haven't read Emily Henry in a while. I still haven't read Funny Story, and I still also haven't read Beach Read. It's one of those ones where I was like, I know I'm gonna love it, but I already don't want it to be like read and over, if that makes sense. But I'm definitely planning on having a few beach days in the summer, so I am saving it for a very specific time. But anyway, so I would love to read Happy Place. To be honest, I don't really know anything about the plot really at all. I just know that it's way more than a romance and has a lot more of like a deeper element to it. Really excited about that. Or the other book is, I can't remember the name without actually physically reading it, The Wisteria Society of Lady Scoundrels, which is the first book in the Dangerous Damsels series. Especially since watching Bridgerton recently, this has just suddenly like really zoomed its way up my TBR, because it literally says at the bottom, Bridgerton meets Peaky Blinders. Now, I've never watched Peaky Blinders, but essentially I'm just getting Bridgerton turns like badass, basically. That is how I imagine this is going to be. I mean, look at the little cartoon there. It's literally like two Regency people with guns. Need I say more? Like, this sounds like so much fun. And yeah, since watching Bridgerton, one, I'm craving actually reading the Bridgerton books in general, but secondly, like being back in like a Regency era would be great. And the cover, I mean, I know you shouldn't judge anything by cover, but come on, like, this is stunning. I've never read anything by India Holton before, but I'm excited. And secondly, it's a really floppy book, so we love that. But anyway, these are my two options as my last book. I feel like I had romance as a category, I had fantasy as a category, and this is kind of like, I know some people classify Happy Place as a romance, but this is just a bit more like miscellaneous, kind of, I don't know. I don't really know what to label them as, but they're just 2 books that I've been really wanting to read recently. So I'm gonna give this one to Buddy to pick again. We'll give Bella a break, you know, she's resting, she's recovering. She's currently sitting out in the garden, just sunbathing, because we've finally got some sunshine in the UK. But yes, so I'm gonna get the treats ready, get these laid out, and see what my last read of this video is gonna be. I am so excited. I literally will be so chuffed with either. Like, he can't really pick a wrong book for this one. I am so excited to read both of these, so let's find out. Okay, so we are how far through now? Page 124, chapter 12. Are you listening to me too? And wow, it is so good. I always understand why people hype up Emily Henry even from the number of books that I've read from her. This, I think, is going to be a solid favourite. I've already been tabbing. I just don't understand how this woman writes the way that she does. Like, it's honestly crazy. Like, I'm sure you've probably heard a number of these quotes already, but like, let me just read out a couple of my favourites. We fall into that hyper comfortable kind of silence. The quiet of 2 people who lived together for the better part of 5 years and still, after all this time, have a muscle memory for how to share space. A muscle memory of how to share. Like, I'm sorry, that just really stuck out to me. The weight of his focus on me, an ache starts behind my ribs, like having this small bit of him has transformed all the pieces I can never have into a kind of phantom limb, a pain where there should be more win. Oh, like these 2 are destined for each other. So essentially this book is about Wyn and Harriet, who, as the book begins, are ex-fiancés. So they were engaged, but they broke up, I think, like 5 or 6 months prior to when this book begins. And in this book, we go back and forth from timelines from when they first met and the blossoming of their relationship, and then also present day, where they're spending time at a like sort of holiday place where they always go with their group of friends. But they haven't told their friends yet that they are split up. So naturally their friends organise their yearly holiday in their happy place. And so Harriet and Wyn, for the time being, are kind of pretending that they're still together because, like I say, they haven't told their friends yet. So yeah, but I've got a feeling this book is gonna go so much deeper than that. Because, like I say, Emily Henry's writing and just the way that she drafts characters and stories and the whole thing, like, it's honestly magic. Like, I don't know how she does it. I'm going to dedicate so much time this evening to reading because I've just been having the best time with this. I am so tired. I hope my face doesn't show it. I've had 2 of the most ridiculous, let's just say ridiculous, days at work. And leave it at that, because I'm kind of over it. I don't want to talk about it anymore. So I'm here in my happy place with my fur babies, a book, a blanket, and I'm just gonna chill. Like, I'm just gonna chill and enjoy my evening. And yeah, hopefully read a lot more of this. Because Hi guys, as you can see, I'm back at home now. I had a very mixed week looking after the dogs. I do miss them already, I always do, but my dog sitting time has come to an end. However, I haven't actually finished Happy Place yet, but I still have time. Today was my deadline day to finish, and I'm on page just over 300. So I can definitely get this finished in one more sitting today, which is exactly what I'm gonna go and do now. So it's a stunning day outside. Honestly, the perfect ambience to be reading this. So I'm gonna make myself an iced coffee, and I'm gonna get my picnic blanket out, find some grass, and just sit and binge the rest of this. I don't actually know if I've done any updates. I've kind of just been steamrolling through it, but the tabs should tell you everything you need to know. I'm obsessed. Honestly, the last few pages, I don't see how they can change my mind. I really do think this is going to be a 5-star read, and I haven't had a 5-star read in so long. I think since February, or maybe March actually. I think Powerless I rated 4.5, I bumped it up to a 5 because I constantly think about that book by Lauren Roberts, not Elsie Silver, although that is a 5-star from me as well. Anyway, these characters, they just feel so real. This is the most connected I've felt to a bunch of characters in a very long time. I'm not going to go into too much detail, honestly, right now, because like I say, I'm going to be finishing it soon anyway, so I'll just wrap it all up then. But this is my favourite book in this video, for sure. But yeah, I'm going to get my iced coffee on and just bask in the sunshine for a little while, because it's a beautiful day for it, so why not? If and when it would happen. This chapter that I just read made me sob. Chapter 34, for reference, I have never felt so seen. That was so emotional. I've just gotten home from finishing Happy Place. I will firm what I said earlier, this is a 5-star read. If anything, my connection to it in the last 80 pages grew significantly more. There's just so many themes in this book that I don't know, obviously, if it's just me. Obviously a lot of people must agree because this book is so raved about, but that I just managed to connect to on such a deep level. It just made me feel so seen in so many different ways. Like I say, this book is, I feel marketed as a romance. It even says on it, a heart-tugging masterpiece from the queen of romance. Emily Henry does do romance, and don't get me wrong, romance is a big forefront of this book, and we are following literally 3 different romantic couples within it, but the themes are so much more than that. And I wouldn't say the romance plot within this is conventional. It's not a conventional romance, and I think if you go into this expecting your bog standard 2 people get together, third act conflict, get together at the end, you'd be disappointed if you're just expecting that. There's just so much more to it. It's got so much depth on the romantic level, but also, like I say, on so many other levels where we explore so many other things. The found family in this book is so good, so good, which is definitely, I've come to learn, one of my favourite tropes. Found family will get me in the feels every single time. And with the 6 characters that we are following, there's just so many different elements to their lives that crop up, and hardships and grief and turmoil and things that you encounter in day-to-day life. And it was just written so insightfully but beautifully. And like I say, I think that's just what tipped me over the edge into definitely give this a 5-star. Just the way I was able to relate and connect to so many different parts of this book was really special, really special. So yeah, this is a 5-star for sure. My favourite Emily Henry to date. This is my 3rd book that I've read from her now. And like I say, yeah, the tabs literally say, oh, I tabbed so much in this book, more than I would on any average book, so this was definitely a good choice from Buddy, and if he was here right now, I would be giving him the biggest high five. But yeah, so these are all the books that I managed to read in this video. Like I say, this is definitely my favourite. This would have to be my 2nd favourite. This was a 4.25, and then The Cruel Prince, which was a 2.75 maybe. Still feeling underwhelmed by that. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I had so much fun making it. It was so fun to get the dogs involved. I've actually, while I'm filming this, edited a significant chunk of it, and it's my favourite thing to watch back. Like, sometimes when I'm sitting and reading with them, I kind of just, it's almost normal because they are very affectionate dogs, so sometimes I'm like, oh, this is cute, but like I don't think too much into it. But watching some of the clips back just made my heart melt. Like, I felt so blessed and lucky to be able to spend that time with them and just to spend time with dogs in general. I do miss it in my day-to-day life. So once I manage to move out and get a house, that is definitely something that I know that I need in my life, is to have dogs around me all the time. Because being a dog groomer as a full-time job just is not enough. If you liked this video, please like, comment and subscribe, all that amazing stuff, and I will catch you next week with a brand new video. Bye friends.